What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Emphasis on Sports. As per usual, I'm your host, Damon Anthony. We're going to kick it about sports. We're going to float all around the sports world. Now, if you're new to listening to us, like, subscribe all over YouTube. We're also available on Spotify, Amazon, uh, everywhere that you can get a stream and you can't catch us. Look for Emphasis on Sports, right? We really try and just stay unbiased here, stay very honest, and just talk about sports, not all the excess, right? So let's talk about the NBA. Right now, the NBA, we're a couple weeks in. We've been seeing some good things. We're seeing some strange things. Been seeing some teams that definitely need to continue to evolve. In the Eastern Conference, probably the biggest thing that I've seen, Cleveland Cavaliers are starting the season off 9-0. Now, do I believe that that's going to continue throughout the season? Absolutely not. But they're a team that they just needed to be coached right, and some of the other guys need to step up. It's good to see Evan Mobley doing what he's doing, but they have a backcourt with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell that can be very, very dangerous as things go. Um, Now, other teams floating around the East, the Boston Celtics, they're 7-2. You know, they're defending their title. They're going to continue to get better. I expect them to be in the mix when the playoffs comes, being probably the top team in the East. Other teams doing well. Really, nobody in the East. I mean, after 9-0 and 7-2, best records are 4-4 and 4-5. So really, not much action going on in the East. A lot of teams need to step it up. They're learning to play together. They're learning to build, and it's still very, very, very early in the season. There is still 70-something games left to be played. Um, so we know that these teams are going to look a lot different as it goes. Now you look over in the West, Oklahoma City Thunder, who I think everybody is expecting to kind of take that next step. They're a young team. They did well last year. Didn't make it to the finals, but we know that with SGA and with Chet, they're gonna get better. It's simple as that. Um, Suns, Warriors, also 7-1. Now, the Suns, they're one of those teams you look at them on paper and you say, man, they should be the guys. Um, but we got to see how number one, health is gonna be big. Is Bradley Bill? How's he gonna play throughout the year? But the Suns, they're gonna make noise. Golden State, they're playing. It seems like everybody on the team, which isn't a bad thing because it's teaching those guys how to play better, play with Steph. Buddy Hield's doing his thing over in Golden State. I expect to see that team actually make some noise too, especially with Steph. If you put some people around him and he doesn't have to carry the entire load and he could just knock it down when the fourth quarter comes, when they get in those stretches, that's going to make Golden State tough, a very tough out. Sacramento Kings are also looking good. Houston, Dallas, Minnesota, Denver. I'll tell you a team who's going to creep up on everybody, and they should be expecting it, is the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja's back. Zach Edey. Zach Edey, he's finding his way slowly but surely in the NBA. We're talking about a 7-footer who he's going to bring in those double doubles. He's going to be, I think he's a real, real good player to play alongside Ja because he's really just going to be on the inside and Ja can drive and dish or, all of those things. So the NBA is looking pretty solid, just starting off the season still. I have had some talks with some people, especially living in Northeast Ohio, talking about the Cavs, them being 9-0. Hey, listen, that's great. It's a great way to start your season. Pump your brakes. Please pump your brakes because the season is long. There's a lot of things going on. It's been a great start to the season for some of these teams. Now you just got to keep it going. All right. Let's move on to the NFL. Now the NFL, week 10 begun last night with a hell of a game. Baltimore Ravens knocked off the Cincinnati Bengals 35-34. This was a game, I mean, if you like big numbers, you like big plays, a nice back and forth into the game, it was all of those things. Me personally, I wanted to carry my ass to sleep. Couldn't do it. I had to keep watching that one. From Lamar's fadeaway to Jamar Chase going absolutely bananas with 264 yards and multiple tuds. It was a hell of a game to watch. Now, two things coming from this game. One of them, Baltimore is who we thought they are. We know Lamar is going to be awesome. We know King Henry's gonna carry the load and do whatever he needs to do. But on the other side of the field, Cincinnati, it might be a wrap. It really might. I mean, I know Cincinnati. Joe Burrow had came out and said all we got to do is win the seven out of the next 9. But Cincinnati still has some teams left ahead of them that's gonna make this thing tough. Now let's see what will happen. The one thing that I took from this game on both sides that's not really going to bode well for either one of these teams is where was the defense? Like, where was the defense? You got a 35-34 division game in this division. Where's the defense? This is one of those divisions where, man, they get after it. When you're talking about the AFC North, man, them teams absolutely get after it, and didn't see that yesterday. As a matter of fact, Baltimore will give up some points. Cincinnati will give up some points. That's not going to be great going down the stretch of the season, especially either one of these teams that have aspirations of doing well in the playoffs need to do better than that. Now, moving to Sunday. So Sunday, man, listen, there's some good games. There's some terrible games. That's just all there is to it. Just like the NFL is. We're going to start the Sunday slate off with my Nobody Cares game of the week. The Nobody Cares game of the week. Week. New York Giants at the Carolina Panthers in Germany. Now, for the death of me, I don't understand what the schedule makers were even doing when they looked at this in the offseason. So they probably made this schedule in February or April, released it to us in May, and there's no chance that this game had any kind of aspirations for anything. I really don't think anyone outside of Germany cares about this game. I don't even think Giants fans or Carolina fans really care. Their seasons are over. They're already getting ready for next year. This is a dog of a game. The Giants are currently favored by 6.5 points. I don't like any of this. Give me Carolina to cover. I can't tell you who's going to win. Maybe Carolina wins the game, but I definitely like them to cover. This is an ugly game, and no one cares about it, right? So when we move to the 1 o'clock games, there's a game on there. This first game, this was real close to being the Nobody Cares game of the week, but I'll let it rock because we got a lot of rookies. We got some future, hopefully stars of the NFL playing in this one. You got the Patriots at the Bears. The current line is Chicago by 6. I definitely want to see, is Drake May going to be in there? What is Caleb Williams going to do? Are the Bears going to be able to keep him upright? Because I really think he could be a real strong asset to this team this year, but you got to keep him upright. Man scrambling for his life every time he drops back. New England's going to try and get after him, but New England's not a very good team. Chicago, mid at best. Chicago minus 6. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears at home to do pretty well. I know Eberflus, he's caught some fire lately. I'm going to take the Bears here. Then we're going to have the Buffalo Bills at the Indianapolis Colts. That one, Bills favored by 4. I like the Bills in this one. To me, I'm going to put the Bills in that top 3 in the AFC. No particular order. Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. Buffalo is a damn good team. I know Keon Coleman is out. Not sure yet if Amari Cooper is going to actually play the game. I know he's suffering through a wrist injury. But either way, what Josh Allen and the Bills have shown so far this year is they can manage their way through these games and get the dub. So give me Buffalo by that 4 there. I like this as a touchdown game. Indianapolis isn't showing me anything. I think Indianapolis, if they don't get it together, they're done for the season. And this might just be Houston's to walk away with. Next game up is going to be Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. Current line is Kansas City by 7.5. I'm gonna take Kansas City here. I like Kansas City giving up those points, even though Denver has looked like a team that is on its way to being in the playoff contention in the next couple of years. Not going to say this year, Not going to say they're some hell of a team, but the growth that we saw from this team from last year to this year, Bo Nix has been playing really well. We know the back end of that defense is fantastic, but Kansas City's still Kansas City. Their offense hasn't looked great, but their defense have looked outstanding. And the one thing that Kansas City knows how to do is win. So I'm going to take Kansas City here, definitely. Then we're going to have the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Current line is Atlanta by 3.5. Give me Atlanta on this one. New Orleans, they're ready for next season already. We know just got rid of the coach. We don't know what's going to go on with Olave. I think he has to go see a specialist or something, even to be deemed eligible to come back. Man's had a couple head injuries. Don't know if he should. Man, this is what we're looking at now. The health of these athletes. Listen, as a sports fan, I root for my team. I root for these athletes, and I want to see them do well. I love nothing more than on Sundays in the fall and the winter to just watch football all damn day. But if it means that people have to play through these injuries and possibly put the rest of their life on hold or, all of those things, man, go ahead and walk away. It's all right. I'd rather see any of these players, whether it's Tua, whether it's Olave, doesn't matter who it is. If it could be a 49er, man, look, be healthy. I'd love to see you at one of these games when you're 50, 60 years old. Just having fun with the crowd. Don't want to see you all messed up or going through all the things that some of these athletes have to go through. That being said, New Orleans this year, it's a wrap for y'all. Atlanta continues to be a team that's just getting it done. It seems like all of the pieces fit. It seems like Kirk Cousins was the right move, and he did the right thing for himself as well as the team. So give me Atlanta there by that 3.5. Then we have a game that I'm looking forward to personally. You see what's behind me. You see it. You see what's on the hat. Got the San Francisco 49ers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Early line on this one is San Francisco by 6.5. Give me the Niners. Now, the Niners do have some good things happening. Looks like McCaffrey is going to play for the first time this year. Looks like Juwan Jennings might be in the game. Debo, we know, is still nursing a little oblique injury. Don't know how much he's actually going to see the field. We're getting close to getting back some defenders. Meanwhile, with Tampa Bay, we know that their receiving core very much injured, hurt up. Baker he's nursing an injury. That being said, San Francisco's coming off a bye. Everything is on the line for San Francisco moving through these next couple games. That's just what it is. To all 49er fans out there, let's not get too huge on CMC coming back because the entire team needs to play well. Defense, offense, special teams. Remember, listen, Detroit, probably best team in the NFL. That's one of the things I'll stand on. Washington, good. Green Bay, good. Atlanta, good. Those are going to be tough teams if we happen to make it to the playoffs. Meanwhile, we still have a pretty tough schedule to make it all the way to the end of the season. We still have to have Buffalo, still got Miami, still got Detroit, still got Arizona once, Rams once, Seahawks once. So nothing is going to come easy, and this is just where it starts. I do like San Francisco this week. I like Brock Purdy to have a big game. I'm really expecting to see a little more out of George Kittle. Let's hope we can get it done. It looks like the 49ers are going to have to win the NFC West just to make it in the playoffs. That's exactly how things are looking right now. So it's just time to get it done. Another 1 o'clock game that I'm looking forward to watching is going to be Pittsburgh and Washington. Now, right now, Pittsburgh is the leader in their division, the AFC North. Washington is leading the NFC East, and Washington looks good. They look like a team. I'm not going to say that we're team of destiny shit, but they definitely look like a damn good team that nobody's really going to want to play come playoff time. The current line is Washington by 2.5. I like Washington. They're at home. There's really no reason for me to go against them. Pittsburgh, while they have been really, really good, and they're going to walk in with a great defense. TJ Watt's going to do his thing. I'm still going to take the home team here. Give me Washington. Then we're going to have Minnesota at Jacksonville. Now, this game, look, Minnesota, they're still very much in the hunt for their division and a wild card spot. Minnesota, they're no slouch. The line is currently 7, Minnesota by 7. I like Minnesota here, especially when you pair that with Jacksonville is going to have to start their backup, Matt Jones. Don't really know how good Jacksonville, they haven't looked really good. They've looked like a second tier, maybe third tier team this year. Definitely regressed from where they were. Minnesota, they have things to prove. They're ready to go. They're ready to get after it. Give me Minnesota by the 7. I think they're going to win by a lot more than that, though. Then we're going to have Tennessee at the Los Angeles Chargers. So currently the Chargers, they're in the playoff position. They're in the playoff hunt in the AFC. If the playoffs started tomorrow, they'd be a wild card team. They're not impressive to me, but I understand what Coach Harbaugh is bringing to them. He's bringing a passion. He's bringing an intensity. He's bringing a little more commitment to what are we doing and what are we supposed to be doing. So that's going to keep the Chargers actually pretty good, pretty relevant. They got rid of a lot of players, and even through some of the injuries that they've had, they're still walking in with a pretty decent record. On the other side of the field, Tennessee, they suck. They're not good at all. So I'm going to take the Chargers minus the 7.5. Nothing about Tennessee tells me that they're going to score more than 17 points. I'm expecting probably a 27-17 game here. Then we're going to have Philly at Dallas. Line currently is Philly minus 7. Give me Philly in this one. Taking a lot of favorites this week, but give me Philly in this one. We know Dak's out. He's on the IR with that hamstring injury. Cooper Rush, we know he's going to start. Maybe it's time to go with a little Trey Lance, see what he has. Meanwhile, Philly, they're balling. They look pretty good. I think coaching hurts them a little bit because you're never really out of a game with Philly. That defense might nut up a little bit there. But I do like Philly. AJ Brown is going to play. No, he's still, he's not 100%. But what Saquon's doing, AJ Brown, with DeVonta Smith, I believe Jalen Hurts might have a little ankle tweak, but I don't think that's a problem with Dallas because Dallas is not a good team whatsoever. So go ahead and give me Philly minus that 7. Then we got a real interesting game. The Jets at the Cardinals. The current line is the Jets minus 1.5. Give me the Cardinals on this. Now, if you would have asked me this at the beginning of the season, right before the season starts, absolutely give me the Jets. But the Jets are definitely in scramble mode. They are, in my opinion, they're out of it. They're done. There's nothing they're going to do for the rest of the season that's going to make sense. We're going to put them in the playoffs. And Arizona, their team, they're finding ways to win. For me, they're becoming a little scary because they are in the NFC West. They do right now sit atop the NFC West, and all they've been doing recently is just figuring out how to win. A lot of walk-off field goals, and then just holding it down, getting it done. Remember, 49ers gave up a 10-point lead to them in the fourth quarter and lost. They're figuring it out. And those teams that figure it out, they are dangerous. They're absolutely dangerous. Now with the Jets, like I said, I think it's just a wrap on them. I think they're going to be in some games. They're going to win some games. They're going to be entertaining at times. But all in all, they're still going to lose probably 3-4 games down the stretch of the season. And that whole thing is going to get blown to smithereens. That's what I believe. Now, Sunday night game, Detroit Lions at the Houston Texans. This one, I wish that all the receivers and everybody was healthy for Houston so we can have a real knockdown drag out, but that's not the case. So that kind of changes the view on this game a little bit. Detroit is riding a wave of they're just really fucking good. I don't know. They're just really fucking good. That's what Detroit is. For myself, when I sit and I watch football, you know who's good, you know who's not. They're a really damn good team. Now, Houston, they're going to be trying to hold their own and trying to get it done. They're at home. The line on this one is Detroit by -4. I'm going to take Houston in this one. The only reason I'm taking Houston in this one is they are good. They're going to, I believe, be able to shoot it out a little bit with Detroit. CJ Stroud, great quarterback, great young quarterback. I know Detroit's locked and loaded and ready, and they're going to come and they're going to try and take it down. I just happen to like Houston in this one. Not taking anything away from Detroit. Um, hey, if they run the table the rest of the way in the regular season, cheers to them. My hat's off to them. I just don't see it happening this week. So give me Houston +4. Our Monday night matchup. This one, I mean, I'm gonna have my eyes on it because I'm an NFC West guy. But the Miami Dolphins at the Los Angeles Rams, current line Rams -1. I'm gonna take the Dolphins here. Now, yes, I know the Rams are at home. Yes, I know that they've been playing really good lately. But you put Tua back under center with the Dolphins, it changes everything about that team. Now the offense plays a little better, a lot better. Your running backs, they actually can get out there and get after it. Tyreek Hill can ball a little bit. Give me Miami here. There's a little hope because I want the teams in my division to lose, but I also did pick Arizona to win that game. So just being honest when it comes to that. All right. So before we wrap up, then I just want to talk a little bit about the teams and what I'm seeing, the playoff picture as it goes, because I mean that's what we're here for. It's gonna be a bumpy ride now that we're on the back stretch of the season. So if we're looking at these playoff standings right now in the AFC, you're looking at the Chiefs, the Bills, the Steelers, the Texans being your 1, 2, 3, 4. Then at 5 is the Ravens, 6 the Chargers, 7 the Broncos. Those are your playoff teams right there. On the outside looking in, but still close, still have a chance. Colts, Bengals, and even the Jets with three games. Now, a lot of things need to happen for some of this to move around. I still am going to believe that the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, that they're the best teams in that conference. Until I see otherwise, it's just what I happen to see. Now, the Chiefs, I don't think that they're the best team in the league. I just think that they know how to win better than anyone in the league. That offense is not looking like your typical Chiefs offense, but that defense is looking fantastic. And if they continue to play like that, they might be able to get a three-peat. Now on the NFC side, when you're looking at those top teams, number 1 seed currently as we sit, the Detroit Lions. Number 2, Washington Commanders. Number 3, the Falcons. Number 4, the Arizona Cardinals. In the 5th spot is the Vikings. 6th, the Eagles. 7th, the Packers. On the outside looking in, Bears, Rams, Niners, all 4-4. Bucks, Seahawks, 4-5. It's heavy. It's heavy in the NFC. Now, look, when I look at this NFC, and I've been riding this for a little bit, the Detroit Lions look like the class of the NFL currently. That's what I'm seeing. But right behind them, man, the Washington Commanders, they're sneaky. They're sneaky. This reminds me so much of that RG3 year when it comes to Washington, because you really couldn't game plan that much for them until about the week 3 or 4. But then you realize that quarterback is different than what you thought. Now, if all things lay out and it just runs like this in the playoffs, the Lions and Commanders would be a hell of a playoff match because you don't really know what's going to happen. And Jaden Daniels is awesome. Now, the Lions, they look like that team that they are ready. I've been watching the NFL for a long time, and sometimes you see those teams just build year after year after year. Remember, a couple years ago, they almost made the playoffs, barely missed it. Then last year, NFC Championship, gave up a lead and lost that. This year, they look like a team that's saying, you know what? We learned from that, and we're ready to rock. What do y'all have to say about that? We're ready to rock. Me as a football fan, it's cool to see it because I do have a little love in my heart for the Lions. Grew up watching Barry Sanders. Hey, look, I'm a lifetime Niner fan. That's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna rock with the Niners, red and gold, until I'm dead and old. You know what I'm saying? But I will give respect where respect's due. Do love seeing the Lions do well. Their fans are kind of cool, but hopefully the Niners can pull their shit together and knock them off again and keep on rolling. All right. Well, that's it for me today. Until next time, do your thing, love somebody, and I will holler.